Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming on this warm, sunny July Thursday. We are here to celebrate the installation of this wonderful statue or sculpture you see before you, the tablet. We have Phoebe Knapp, who is here, along with her husband, Paul, and we'll be talking, or she'll be talking to you very short. So we're very pleased to welcome Phoebe here, along, as I've said, with her husband, Paul. Drove all the way from Billings. She'll tell you more about that in a minute. And we would like to thank some people first. My mother, Elizabeth Ames, who was on this board for 50 years, and her will left a bequest, funded half of this project. And Warren Moffett, who many of you here know, was a Easton resident, and his family were dedicated patrons of the library. I knew Warren from the American Legion post here. Warren was a veteran of the D-Day invasion, quite an entertaining character, much loved. And of course, we want to thank Avery Lee Williams, who is the eminence grise of a lot of these donations, and I'm sure he had his hand in making sure that Warren was generous to us as well. So thank you, Lee. You're up there watching, I'm sure. So anyhow, enough from me. I'd like to introduce Phoebe. Phoebe, the close connection is she's an old family friend. Her sister Joan is here today, who was married to a very old friend of mine, close friend of mine, Prescott Crocker. So that's the link. And Phoebe, how about over to you?
Okay, thank you, Bill.
You got the mic.
Okay, thank you. Okay, hello. My name is Phoebe Knapp, and I hope you don't mind if I have a little bit of a script. We drove a long way, and so I have to have a few notes. My name is Phoebe Knapp, and I am happy to be here in Northeastern at the Ames Free Library with my sculpture entitled Tablet. And I want to thank everyone here for coming. Let's see. First of all, I want to thank all members of the board for being here, and especially to Uma, the retired executive director. And I owe much to Mrs. Elizabeth Ames, a.k.a. Bunny, who I met many years ago, and we struck up a lovely friendship. She loved to talk about art. And I also, because of Elizabeth, she has made possible, along with Mr. Warren Moffett, the gift of the tablet to this library. Lastly, I want to give a huge shout out to Bill Ames, who has coordinated this extraordinary journey of the tablet from Billings, Montana to northeastern Massachusetts. Yay! Yay! And this sculpture has never been in a better place. And I'm in such eminent company with the H.H. Richardson building behind me and Augustus St. Gaudens inside. So that's terrific. Now, the journey here from Montana has been an epic road trip. We have crossed at least 10 states to reach the oldest free library in the U.S., bringing a sculpture in a U-Haul to accent this wonderful institution. There is an historical journey, too, behind this sculpture. It is made of walnut from Northern California, from trees planted by the Franciscan friars as they made their way from mission to mission. The area was marked by walnut trees. Along the Pacific coast, as they marked their trail, and it became known as the El Camino Real. I don't know whether you're all familiar, but if you've been to California. And it extended northward to just beyond present-day San Francisco. These slabs are from trees that were some of the last along the trail, and they were transported to my studio in Montana via flatbed as we go. Okay. Now, the theme of this sculpture is a giant book. Great books in libraries go back to ancient history. I'm sure all of you have heard of the library at Alexandria circa 285 BC. Think of the Dead Sea Scrolls and other ancient tablets. I'll stand back up again. The importance of books and libraries as repositories for knowledge and ideas will always be here for us. For all you young readers and artists out there, it's all about imagination. I hope this sculpture will inspire you all to keep reading. Thank you very much. Please, field me, give me questions.
So, Phoebe, why is it 12 feet tall?
Well, I'll tell you. These slabs were the jewel in the crown of the cache of walnut came my way. I spent about 15 years using all the wonderful wood that I had gotten from a woodcutter in Northern California. And these were the special ones, and I saved them. I really didn't want to carve into them. I'm a big carver, but I wanted to retain the integrity of the width and the heft and the length of these beautiful slabs that'll never be seen again. And so I conceived of the idea of threading them together. And this is black iron pipe. It's a plumbing material that is less corrosive than cast iron. And these were dipped into copper and then coated with something that I hope will keep them copper. Hope that'll happen. And so that's how I envisioned the tablet. And I also have a background of books. My father was a scholar, of course, and books were really big in my world, in my life, and a tremendous inspiration. And that's why I emphasize imagination to all the young people here. It's very important. It took me a while, probably close to a year, because I had to realize that I could use those slabs in a new way without adulterating them, which is the way I thought of it. And so I thought of the idea of putting them together. And then I had to figure out how to link them together. And so Link's spiral notebook, and I just began going through things at hand that were important. And lo and behold, and then the rings were tough. I had several metalworker friends who fabricated some rings for me, but they were puny. They just weren't right. The scale, it had to be scale-wise. It had to go with those slabs. And so that's when someone came up with plumbing fixtures. And so I was, but I couldn't find anybody in Billings that could bend these to the circumference I needed to thread them through. And I found a company in Utah. Who would have thought? Yes. And I plunged them into a copper bath. There's a company in Billings that copper coated them. Yes. And you can see in the back where the seams are. You can go behind and you can see how I did it, because there's a piece of the circle that comes out. And so I'm so glad that you're enjoying the walnut. I love the fact that it has history. This whole journey of these trees from the coast of California going to Montana.
How long did it take you to get here to go through those
4 days, 10 states. 4 days. And we're pulling a U-Haul trailer. And my husband, Paul, was perfectly marvelous. We negotiate everything, even Chicago. And I think I can name the 10 states, but you can too. Well, let's see. Montana, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, tiny bit of Pennsylvania, on to New York State, and through to Massachusetts. I do. And you can look at my work. My website is Phoebe Knapp, KNAPP.com. And you can read about my background and whatever you need to know. So thank you very much, all of you, for coming. Please ask me more questions.
Let's give her a great round of applause. Thank you, Phoebe. I think your comment, many excellent comments, but certainly to have this tablet here resonate with the other artists who, whether they're the Olmsteads or the Richardsons or whatever that we've been so blessed with here in Easton, it resonates perfectly with the scale and the sense of presence that we need to sort of teach the next generations about art and the role of art. And as someone at the dinner said last night, he was talking about this, and he said it just makes us all look good, you know, that we have a big piece and we bring it in from Billings and, you know, make a real effort to get it placed, and all you nice people here showed up today. So Phoebe's just invited you all to Montana, so don't forget that. What's
Why these specific two class from this calculator?
Why these two?
Yes.
Well,
wait. She's been asked. What's the question again?
I said, why specifically these two class from that particular tree, from that region?
Okay.
That
Why don't you repeat the question?
the question is, why did I do what I did to these particular slabs, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I met a woodcutter when I was visiting a friend in San Rafael, and we became immediate friends, and he said, I have a cache of walnut I want you to see. So he took me to his warehouse in San Rafael, and he had this extraordinary cache of wood, and very, very wonderful for me. He said, you're the right sculptor to come along. And he said, we'll load them up on your flatbed trailer and we'll take them back to Montana. So I worked on those enormous cache of walnut. I worked on it for about 15 years, as evidenced on my website. And these, to me, I got the whole tree. The woodcutter, he had a chainsaw on his truck, so he could slab anything. And when he came to these, he said, now these are special, mainly because of the height, the length. Now I got several big chunks you'll see on my website that I went through, but I left these because they were so perfect. And I got the whole log, and part of it, these are the middle two flitches, as they are called by bolt turners. And the outer ones I made into a 6-foot piece tablet too, which is in Houston, Texas. But these were special because they will never exist again in our lifetime. 5-inch thick walnut, 12 foot long. And so I really wanted to. Did you miss the part where I said I didn't want to carve into them because I didn't want to sort of adulterate their marvelous heft. And so I had to conceive of a way I could use them.
And preserve them.
Exactly. And that was a tough one. So it took me a while to come up with a concept. And then after that, it was just a question of, and I was, hoping for kids too, but I want to tell them that really doing art and sculpture is all about solving problems. And so you get an idea, and then you have to carry it through to the end. Yeah, and no matter how tough it is, you have to figure out a way to do it. So that explains.
Phoebe, talk about the weathering. how you coated it with different
Yes.
substances.
Well, of course, I'm concerned because it's an organic material. I did get into bronze casting. You'll see on my website I have a piece called Beastie Boys, and it's made of box elder, which is really a crumbly wood that grows along what we call cricks in Montana, and I cast those because they were falling apart. But this is ancient hardwood. I mean, these are 200-year-old slabs, as I explained, that were planted. Yeah. So I feel like they have a lot of time left in them. I also have shown them at the Missoula Art Museum. I've shown them in this particular piece in Denver. I've shown them 4 times, but I was always very grabby, didn't want to really. And then this was the perfect opportunity at this wonderful, wonderful library, free library here. So I was just thrilled. Couldn't have a better home. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I just found it. Oh, you guys are so nice.
Yeah.
I clap for all of you.
So Phoebe, I hope you and Paul will come around next
Well,
time
now
you're in the East, and
I'll come back
we'll
to
have
see
another
how it's
dinner.
faring.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching, and as Priscilla Almquist would say, have a good afternoon.
Beautiful walnut live edge table in your house, do you? No. Now, I'll tell you what I do. I have a lot of girlfriends who want to